just be blunt, you will not be hired for a great idea, but rather for your ability to execute upon great ideas. If you just send a game idea to the studio, no one will respond. No one will read it. The idea's not going to do you any good until you're in a studio with a platform to share that idea. So you'll be hired for your talent and your passion and your portfolio, and then later, when you've sat on that idea and fleshed it out, then you have the platform to pitch it to your peers when they're eagerly looking for that. And you'll have colleagues who, like I said, will want to hear that idea. You could go indie if you think you have this fantastic idea and you really want to make the game. You could try making it on your own. That's really hard. I've tried to make an iPhone game. Like it's a hard process to do, but it's totally. I mean, if you believe in your idea, you can do things like Kickstarter. You can, put together, collaborate with people. It's totally a possibility. But sit on your ideas, nurture them, flesh them out, and then when you're established, maybe you can present it and be the next big IP.
Good.
All right. So now we're going to get really specific. Game industry advice. So the outline you can see there. I'll just get through it. Again. Networking is the absolute number one thing that you can do to increase your chances of securing a job in this industry. It's not intended to downplay, again, the hard work, education, experience, and whatnot, but it's the way it is. Most studios provide monetary incentives to employees for them to recommend hires. So if you recommend someone, they get hired, they could get a sizable cash bonus because it cuts down the time for them to find a good fit for the company. So what you need to be is you need to be the name on the tip of that person's tongue when they're searching for a job. You have to be in the front of their mind. Otherwise, you're not going to get that preferential treatment. I was responsible for 2 hires at Game Informer just because of that. Annette Gonzalez, who's actually now the community manager at Harmonix, she came up to me one day at GDC and started talking to me, and we chatted, and she kept in touch with me, and I was impressed with her, and then I think it took 2 years, but I kept her in a folder in my inbox because I was so impressed with her. And then when a position was opening up, I said, look at this Annette girl. So she forged a relationship that 2 years later got her a job at Game Informer. And another employee, Tim Turi, he was another guy that impressed me. And so I put his name in front of Andy, Reiner, and McNamara, and they ended up getting the job. So again, this is exactly how it works. So that's how you want to be. Okay, other examples of networking. Join the community. If you're a press member, become a community pillar and drive intelligent discourse through community blogs or comments. Prove your knowledge of the industry and community blogs. Make friends with the staff in a genuine capacity. Really, make friends with them. Don't pretend to be friends because, that's like a really superficial relationship that they'll probably see through and see that you're just trying to get a job. But if you get to know them, I was back in Minnesota a while ago, and one of the old community members from Game Informer was just coming up from Nebraska to visit with the team in Minnesota. Like that's how entrenched in the community he flew up to come hang out with the editors. So making genuine friendships and forging relationships with the staff is very important. So GameInformer.com has a pretty sizable blog section. Destructoid.com, like I said, they do too. And then Bitmob.com is actually, their tagline is where the community meets the press. So they have some phenomenal writing there. So definitely check those ones out if you're looking for a place to kind of start getting a little traction on your writing. And for developers, again, prove your knowledge to fans, join message boards, talk to community managers, studio ambassadors to start to get on their radar. Most developer websites now facilitate two-way communication. So whereas they used to just be static, here's what our company is. Now they've got blogs and comments, and really, if you've got a studio that you just want to work for, you love their IP or you just love their mantra or whatever, really focus on that and try to get your name, your real name probably. Don't use some crazy virtual girl address, which is mine, but use your name, get that in front of them and start making traction with those relationships. Another way is to subscribe, follow, and like. Don't just use social media for entertainment. Use it as a networking opportunity. So surround yourself with influential and inspirational people, correspond intelligently with them, enter their sphere of awareness, and impress them in order to form a superficial relationship. There's actually I have a lot of people tweet me on Twitter, and the ones who continuously tweet me, I start to, I respond to them more, and we start to talk more, and they've kind of entered, my sphere of awareness. And now, again, if they're continually funny or they keep offering me cool insight, then I follow them back, and then you form kind of a superficial relationship. Not to say it's not meaningful, it's just it's very tenuous at that point in time, and then again, you can nurture it. This is so hard. It's so important to go to shows if you can, for both developers and press. I understand the money is tight. I know, like I had a budget for like go to California from Minnesota, like $300. So sleep on floors, eat ramen, take red-eye flights, do absolutely anything, sleep with like 12 girls to one room, whatever it takes, seriously not comfortable. Whatever it takes to get to these shows, it is so important that you do. Get in front of people, shake hands, trade business cards, and impress them with your passion and with your knowledge. If you're on the dev side, GDC, the Game Developers Conference, actually has volunteer opportunities where you can get in for free, and you can be like, a staff member who like monitors sessions and shows people around, and then you get time off to actually see conferences, and it's a fantastic networking opportunity. And for press, PAX actually gives consumers press-like status. I've gone to PAX as press, and consumers get preferential treatment over press. So they are all about, like, you don't have to be press, but you can just talk to the developer and ask if you can do like a little interview with them just for your own blog. You can ask questions, you can write previews of what you see. Because usually there's a line where press gets to go ahead of consumers so that we can get our work done quickly. That doesn't work at PAX. Made my job really hard. To wait in line and only see like 2 things a day. If you absolutely cannot get out to national shows, then go to local ones, even if they're small. You never know. You could meet someone who knows someone. So even anime cons, everybody's connected. So maybe one of your favorite voice actors from an anime has also done work for games, and you forge a relationship, and then they know someone who knows someone. Like, always look for a networking opportunity no matter where you are. This one's so important, and it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Play games. It actually gets significantly harder when you're in school. I mean, like, everybody knows that, right? When I was in school, I'd buy like 1 RPG a year because it would last me the entire year. And then I felt totally satisfied with that. But now, working full time and in costume, I have such little time to play games. It's actually very, very difficult. But it is imperative for both press and developers to keep up on games. You have to stay current with the industry landscape. You have to know the new mechanics. You have to know what companies are putting out what and what trends are and how the industry is evolving. So what I can recommend is like Gameflying or now Redbox games overnight, a couple of bucks. Take a peek under the hood and just see what's like the key mechanic in this game that makes it unique. What is everybody raving about in the story or the graphics for this game? So that you have a little bit of context about how the industry is evolving. And then maybe you'll fall in love with one game and find time to actually finish it, hopefully. But again, understanding the key mechanics is very important, and having the ability to break down the games critically and talk about it analytically with friends. It may sound kind of boring, but like, really break down games. People say this in the press all the time. Like, most people think that we get to sit at our desk and play games all day. Reviewing a game for like print, like actually reviewing it, isn't fun. You have to make the game not fun by thinking about it so critically. You have to break things down that it actually takes away some of the enjoyment. Not to mention if like a company sends you a game 12 hours before the embargo and then you have to play through it in one sitting, that's a nightmare. But you really can't just play through the game. You have to stop and think about it critically. And then it's also kind of important to keep up to date with other entertainment. I'm not saying like you have to watch Jersey Shore. I'm saying that like, just try to understand trends in movies, trends in music, because then you're able to contextualize some of the maybe things that are migrating into the game industry. It's just having a general awareness of what's going on in greater entertainment, not a bad thing. All right, so most of this is contextual to journalism. We'll get back to some dev stuff in a minute. Write early and write often. There is no such thing as too much practice, I promise you. The first step to doing that is to read and evolve your writing and learning by proxy. It keeps you up to date on industry trends, you learn terminology, you learn who the big players are. Follow individuals with contrarian opinions. Don't just follow people who have the same opinion as you, because if you follow people who disagree with you, then you have to solidify why you feel what you feel. So it actually makes you more prepared for discussing things with people at industry events, debating. And so just be prepared to impress people not only with your portfolio, but with your conversation skills and show that understanding of how the industry works. Self-publish. There is no lack of room on the internet. Carve out your own space, and I'm not joking, start now. Like, if you are interested in being pressed, start now. Keep an archive of your content so that you can see how your writing has evolved, and also so you can show potential outlets and say, look how long I've been writing, look how long I've been covering, I'm obviously dedicated. And ensure the blog reflects you in light that you'd like to be evaluated by professionals, because they will be judging you. So just, if it's your professional writing portfolio, just make sure you're not going on crazy tangents about, I don't know, very offensive things. And again, WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr even, all of these are really easy to use outlets that you can get going on now. So diversify your content. Don't just write opinion pieces or don't just write reviews. Try your hand at a variety of content and show people that you have that diversity in your portfolio. So you can often find press releases in full. IGN, I think, posts a lot of press releases in full, and there's a couple of other sites. So take that press release and turn it into a news story. Write a preview from a YouTube demo, because sometimes that's what we have to do, is we just get a trailer and we have to write about a preview based on this trailer using a lens of what we know about the franchise, how it looks like it's evolved and whatnot. Write a long lead research editorial citing multiple sources. Review a game you have easy access to. Interview anyone you can get your hands on. These are all ways of diversifying your writing portfolio. Also diversifying your skills. So to increase your marketability through a variety of talents, you could, it shows that you're more self-reliant, and that it's easier, if you have a greater understanding of multiple fields, it's easier for you to collaborate with people and speak their language. So that makes you a more attractive candidate. So for press, you could learn photography and Photoshop, podcasting, video editing, editorial design, and social media. When I kind of became a one-stop shop when I was at Game Informer, and they were actually more likely to send me to events rather than other people, because when I was there, I could take photos for the blog because I knew photography. I could design editorial content. So basically, like, they didn't need to get anyone else to see a piece to fruition. So that not only makes you more attractive, it also provides you with better opportunities. And so for developers, think outside the box. I actually just had, I did a little interview for a fan school project with a program writer studio. And he studied programming, but he also got a minor in creative writing and liberal arts. And he's like, you know what, I wanted to go into programming, which is very analytical and math oriented, but games are creative. So he wanted to have that creative lens to look through. So it gave him more perspective, and that was something that made him more attractive as a candidate. Showcase your personality. Don't cross into the cult of personality. And if you don't know what that means, it means don't be contrarian just to be contrarian. Be honest to yourself. Don't make noise just to get attention. But find your personality. Find your voice. You can find it through a writing style, a tone, a specialized beat. For me, I found mine through video game accessibility, which is something that was really important to me while I was a Game Informer, and it's something that I'm trying to help implement at Crystal Dynamics, basically the idea of making games more accessible for people of various abilities. So if you're big into sports, how about you start writing, you cover sports titles, and you contextualize them and add insight and commentary that parallels current events. So that's something that you can do that's very specific. I even see people do video game fashion blogs, where they break down like the fashion in video games, but it's such an interesting writing style. They're fantastic writers, and it's something that makes them stand out. It's a unique beat that gives them a lot of personality. And shop yourself around, so get some practical experience. Pitch yourself to smaller blogs. Again, you'll probably have to work for free at first. While you're still in school, get press credentials. Pitch yourself to, if that doesn't work, pitch yourself to non-enthusiast press. Enthusiasts such as gaming or entertainment most likely. Such as school papers, I know a lot of people have done that, community newsletters and whatnot. And if there is no gaming tie, this is something I really recommend. Tell them why there should be, why they need to have cover games, why do they need to have editorials about gaming. Make them care. Tell them why gaming is relevant to their audiences, because it is, right? Gaming is booming, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So tell them that they should be covering this, and that you're the person that should be helping them grow and evolve. And you may think it seems far-fetched. I know 2 individuals that I've talked with over the past 5 years that have done just this. They have gotten gaming reviews implemented into their city papers just by pitching it. And now they've got practical print work on their portfolio, so it's actually a very viable thing to do. Ask for feedback. I was really a horrible writer growing up. I don't know why I thought this was something I could do. And my parents still laugh about it. Like, that's how bad it is. They're like, I can't believe that you actually, I'm thinking my parents sound bad. They're great. They're so supportive.